56 of the Transform Your Life in 15 Minutes. This is where we're doing 5-minute exercises, one each for the mind, the body, and the soul. And my name is Pia McAdams, and I am a college professor, and I teach accounting, and I'm also a certified coach. I specialize in personal and small business finance and also fitness. I help people reach goals in those areas. And I want to welcome you to the challenge. And for those of you that's your first time joining me, welcome. And for those that you're on live, hi Nell Bell, good morning. Thank you for joining me as well. It's a pleasure to see you guys. And remember, even though this is day 26, if you're just now finding me, all of these have been recorded. So you do have access to this information. Now, for the mind, what we're doing is we're reading a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And then for the body portion, we're going to be doing 5-minute yoga salutation. And then for the soul portion, we're going to be doing a meditation focusing on our breath using Ujjayi breathing. All right, so I'm so excited about today because, good morning, Patricia. How are you? Good to see you. I'm so excited about today because it dawned on me that I have a lot of visual learners out there. We've been talking a lot about the mind and the subconscious mind. And so it dawned on me to ask you a question. And what picture comes to mind when I say, picture your mind? Like what is the first picture that comes to your forebrain when you say picture your mind? Okay. Well, guess what? If the first thing that comes to your mind is your brain, well, your brain is an organ. Okay. So your brain is not your mind. You actually think with your brain and it carries out the functions of your body, but that's not your mind. So today I just want to kind of take a few minutes, just kind of show you a visual of what I've been talking about with the mind, the subconscious, and the self image, if you will. So I took the time to draw this, and I hope you guys can see this. So what you're seeing in this diagram right here, this top portion, and I hope it's not like backwards. Let me know if it's backwards. How sometimes it's like flip the other side. Hopefully it's not like that. Hopefully you can actually see this. But what right here, this top portion is your mind. Okay, your mind is divided by two parts. We have our conscious, which is at the very top, and then we have our subconscious, which is at the bottom right here. Okay, and then of course, okay, look at your long neck. I'm not saying your neck is long, but this is the neck. And then this is right here, the body. And of course you have your arms and legs. Okay, so this is your body. I want you to know that your mind, your conscious mind is also known as your thinking mind. It's backwards. Okay, so it's okay. Okay, it's backwards. So let me see if I can, I might have a quick fix to that. Hold on a second. Give me a second here. I might have a quick fix. Oh, it may not. Okay, wait, that may not work either. Nope. Nope, it's not going to work. Okay, so it's backwards, but sorry about the backwards, but just follow along with me because even though it may be backwards, it's still top and bottom at this point. Like I won't do anything left and right, but anyway, so your conscious mind is the top portion of it. And this is known as your thinking mind, okay? And your subconscious mind, which is drawn here, is known as your emotional mind. And then, of course, your body, this is where, like, for instance, from your subconscious minds and your conscious mind, the actions, your beliefs, and your habits come down to your body. And this is where you see results. So this is where you take action and get your results or lack thereof. Okay, so this is what I'm referring to right here, okay? Now, when I was talking about your self-image, I want you to picture what it looked like for you as a child. This is for everyone. So when you're born, you're only born with a subconscious mind, okay? You don't develop your conscious and rational thinking until you're older. I think it's like 5 or 6 when you actually start to develop rational thinking. But when you're born, it's just your subconscious. And so as you can see, and I probably shouldn't have these lines here, I really shouldn't, because it's wide open. This is literally wide open. And it's your environment, namely your parents, that actually start planting seeds and beliefs and start the blueprint and the context for your beliefs. So for instance, how your parents talked about money, how they interact with each other, their relationships, and all that kind of stuff. Your beliefs, your ideas, anything, like for instance, all the environment is actually just feeding all this information into your subconscious mind. And that's where the blueprint begins with your self-image. And so that's what we're working with when I'm talking about fast forward until when you're older and you have developed your rational mind thinking, you can see that the programming has already been set. Now, let me explain something else to you what I'm talking about. Hold on a second, let me flip it one more time. Your mind, your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, wait, I forgot my line across here. Here we go. Okay, so Now, I'm glad I didn't put it on here because it's backwards for you guys. But the top portion, remember, is the conscious mind. That I'm going to call your drill sergeant, okay? And what is the purpose of a drill sergeant? Okay, the purpose of a drill sergeant, in case for those of you who say, okay, I don't know anything about the military, but I'm pretty sure you've heard of the drill sergeant or known something about a drill sergeant. But their purpose is to give orders, right, and commands. And then if you notice this bottom portion right here, let's do it like that. This bottom portion are your recruits. And of course, what is the job of the recruit? To carry out the orders, right? And their only thing, the only word that the recruit says is yes, drill sergeant. So in other words, whenever you consciously give an order, a thought in your mind, your subconscious, the only answer they can say is yes. They don't know no. So for instance, for those of you that can't keep saying, I can't do something, when you say I can't, that's giving an order. The drill sergeant, your conscious mind is your drill sergeant. You're saying to yourself, to your body, I can't. And then the recruit, the subconscious says, yes, drill sergeant, you can't. And then guess what? There's no actions because you just said you can't. Okay, so do you understand what I'm saying here? So this is what we're working with. All right, so back to the book now. With the thing about what we're learning in the book is there's ways to program or pre-program your self-image and how you can fix all this. Because again, if you're having trouble with the goals or the things that you want to do, this is the reason why. If what you're doing is working, by all means, don't change it. Continue doing what you're doing if it's working. But if it's not working, I want you to realize this. And then also for you, those of you that are raising children, this right here, I mean, this is important. You got to be careful of this. I mean, myself included, like right now, my son's 16, but even, I mean, pretty much, and obviously he has the whole brain and everything, but still, this information about teaching how to be positive to yourself and just, stop saying words like I can or that's impossible or using words like never. Like I can tell you stories of how every time I've ever said never, it always happened. And the funny thing is, I always knew that. So I said to myself, every time I said I was never going to do something, it happened. So I would just try to play around with it. Like for instance, like this is funny. I told myself I would never win the lottery. I literally said that because I was saying, well, every time I said never, it happened. So therefore, if I say I'm never going to win the lottery, that means it's going to win, right? Well, guess what? That's not the way it works. So my drill sergeant said, I'm never going to win the lottery. So subconsciously, it said, yes, drill sergeant, you're never going to win the lottery. So let me tell you what happened. So one time I bought a ticket. And this is like, I don't know, when it was huge, like the Powerball was huge. So I bought a ticket, and I can't remember how much I paid. But I got 5 out of the 6 numbers. I didn't get the big Powerball number, but I got 5 out of the 6 numbers, right? Now, keep in mind, at this time, I didn't know anything about the lottery. I don't usually play the lottery. So I didn't, I held onto the ticket for a while. And I remember talking to my mom, and then she was talking about, I happened to mention about the lottery, how I got 5 out of 6 numbers. And she was like, yeah, you won a lot of money. And then she got my sister on the phone who plays all the time, but they're in a different state. And she's like, yeah, if you got 5 numbers, you got a lot of money because the Powerball is really, really huge. So I said, okay. So I took it down to the place, and I turned my ticket in. Now, keep in mind that when you say something to your drill sergeant, it's not just you, right? It's the universe and everything else as well. Okay, so keep that in mind. So I took it down to the place, and then I gave it to the guy, and then he puts it in the system or whatever, and then he says, well, you won a free ticket. And so I was like, oh, okay. Or no, it wasn't a free ticket. It was like I won like $2 or $3, something really, really small. Like it wasn't even $5. Like it was literally something really, really small. I ended up buying another ticket with it. And then I just left my ticket there. Because again, I don't know anything about the lottery. I never played it before. Okay. And so fast forward, like that literally went on. And I just kind of like, I think I told my mom, and she was like, yeah, you sure? And I was like, yeah, they just gave me, I think it was like maybe $3 or something like that. I can't remember. Whatever. I bought another ticket with it. And then I just kind of dismissed it and didn't think nothing about it. 2 years later, I was watching a Dateline, and it was talking about how the people in the stores scam people out of their lottery tickets. And I was like, oh my God, I literally got scammed out of my lottery ticket because I really should have won a lot of money. I don't know how much, but again, the Powerball was in the millions. I had 5 of the 6 numbers. I should have won, but remember, I programmed myself, I'll never win. And the drill sergeant said, yes, you'll never win. And the universe made it so I never win. So I tell you this because it's very, very important how you talk to yourself and who you surround yourself around. Because if, let's say that you're trying to say, okay, I get you, Pia. So you're trying to make these positive changes in your life, but that's the only change that you make. Guess what? I'm sorry to tell you, it's not enough. It's a great start, but it's not enough. You have to change your environment, because if you're still hanging around the same people, and just think, remember how we always talk about, or how you always hear that you're a product of around the 5 closest people that you hang around with. Well, if you look around at your 5 closest friends and the 5 closest people that you hang around with, are you happy with what they're doing and what their outcomes are? If you are, hey, again, with whatever works, then it works. But if you're not, you got to make changes, because how can you make positive changes to yourself and still be around in the same environment? It doesn't work. You need to put yourself into a different environment. Does that mean that you just totally cut them off? Absolutely not. You just don't go as often, and you just don't stay as long. Okay, you don't just dismiss your friends, because a lot of them are not going to be friends. It's going to be those family members, but you just don't go as long and stay as often. Okay, so anyway, let's get to the books. I want to get to rule number 3. We're talking about 5 different rules. 5 rules. We're on 3 out of 5 on how to change your creative mechanism. And by the way, in this book, in case I kind of skipped over it real quick, some of the tools that they talk about to help you change that mental image of yourself is to talk about visualization, the mental pictures, relaxation, act as if. So, different things that you want to try to help you reprogram that self-image of yours. Okay, so we're in chapter 6, and we're on the third way to free your creative mechanism. The first one was don't worry. The first one was do worry before you place your bet, not after you place the bet. The second one was form a habit of consciously responding to the present moment. So you just want to make sure that you're in the present moment. Don't be worried about the future or the past. Live in the present moment. Now, today we're going to talk about try to do only one thing at a time. Now, another cause of confusion and the resulting feelings of nervousness, hurry, and anxiety is the observed habit of trying to do many things at one time. Oh my gosh, I can tell you stories on this on me. Guilty. The student studies and watches TV simultaneously. That's not me. The businessman, instead of concentrating on and only trying to do one letter he is presently dictating, is thinking in the back of his mind of all the things he should accomplish today or perhaps this week, and unconsciously trying to mentally to accomplish them all at once. The habit is particularly insidious because this is seldom recognized for what it is. When we feel jittery or worried or anxious in thinking of the great amount of work that lies before us, the jittery feelings are not caused by the work, but by our mental attitude, which is, I ought to be able to do all of this at once. We become nervous because we're trying to do the impossible and thereby making futile and frustration inevitable. The truth is, we can only do one thing at a time. Realizing this, fully convincing ourselves of this simple and obvious truth, enable us to mentally stop trying to do the things that lie next and to concentrate all of our awareness, all of our responsiveness on this one thing we are doing now. When we work with this attitude, we are relaxed, we are free from the feelings of worry and anxiety, and we are able to concentrate and think at our best. All right, so I think that's a good place to stop here. Yeah, it's a good place to stop. Okay. All right, so again, hopefully this information has been helpful for you, particularly giving you that visual of what your mind is. So now whenever someone says, picture your mind, you have a mental picture of what your mind looks like. All right? And guys, take this to heart. Like seriously, if you're really trying to transform, understand that you're going to change. You're not going to want to be the same person that you started out to be, but you're going to be a much better, much improved person. So now we're going to move on to the yoga and then also the meditation. And let me just kind of quickly explain to you again, that's the reason of this transform your life in 15 minutes and doing those 5-minute exercise. Because a lot of times what we do is we focus on one of the areas, namely our physical, our outside of our bodies, right? That manifests on the outside of the body. But 2/3 of our self is internal. Your mind and your soul is internal. And I give the analogy of like trying to paint your outside of your house, but the inside is like totally messy. Well, guess what? You live on the inside. So if you fix the inside, all parts of the inside, then guess what? It's going to manifest on the outside. So we need to work on our mind, our body, and our soul, and don't just focus on our body. Okay, so we're going to move on to the yoga. And then immediately following the yoga, we're going to do meditation. And remember, this is a practice, so I invite you, I implore that you please join me, don't just watch me. Okay. Are you guys there? Can you hear me? You okay? Give me some arrows there. Give me some hearts. brings us to the meditation portion. I want you to come into a nice comfortable position. If you have your shoes on, please take your shoes off so that your feet are grounded to the floor. We're going to close our eyes, and we're going to clear our mind. If thoughts come into your mind, just gently push them aside. We're going to use Ujjayi breathing, which means as we inhale, our stomach is going to expand, our chest is going to rise as the diaphragm goes up. And as the diaphragm returns to its original position, your chest is going to fall and your abdomen is going to go in. You're going to inhale for a count of 1 and exhale for a count of 2. release, relax, and return refreshed and calm. You've done something good for yourself today. Okay, that concludes day 26 of the Transform Your Life in 15 Minutes. You guys have a great day and see you tomorrow, same time. Bye.